Keegan, another loss, tough loss, close game at the end. Is there anything different about what's going on in these close games at the end that are different from one another, or is it just the same type of issues that you continue to have?
Yeah, I think it's just obviously just not making the right plays at the right time down the stretch. I feel like it's kind of been various between each game, but I feel like a lot of it's controllable. So.
The way these series are and these, getting an opponent in back-to-back games like this, just do you notice anything different about the way they attacked you guys compared to the early game?
Especially in the first half, they were more forceful, trying to get downhill and things like that. So, and they did a good job at that. But we held them to 101 points, so I feel like that's a game that we gotta get.
And then the matchup with LeBron there. I mean, there was some moments back and forth, got a little physical there. Just how much of a learning experience was that?
Yeah, I mean he's super strong. So for me, it's just trying to pick my battles when I can, and just try and give him different looks. And I feel like he did a good job of getting to a spot, and he used his body really well tonight compared to the other night. So.
I think you guys are now 3-10 in games decided by 5 points or less. Just what have you thought of your late game execution tonight on both sides of the ball?
I think it's been some little things, and I think even down the stretch, I think we got some pretty good looks. Obviously, you want to be able to knock those down, but sometimes those aren't controllables. Controllables are. We missed another free throw box out, and that'll be probably the biggest thing talked about, especially. For us internally, because at times you just don't make shots, but that's the thing that you're able to control. And obviously we had a big lineup out there, and we didn't keep Rui off the glass, and that kind of you don't want to say one thing ultimately decided a game, but obviously that's a big thing.
De'Aaron, it just feels like all season long you win 2, you lose 2, you win 3, you lose 3. Just what is it that's causing you guys to spin your tires here again and again?
I don't know. Obviously we talk about details and little things like that, but I think we were much better tonight as far as keeping them off the glass. I think they had like 18 offensive rebounds maybe last game. Cut that in half, but then there was a big one. But like I say, it's those things that are controllable. You can't. You don't want to come into a game like, I could have played harder, or I shouldn't have fouled as much, or we had to keep them off the glass better. And as an inconsistent team, those are usually the things that force you not to win. Because like we always talk about, make or miss league at times, but if you're able to lock down and do the little things, and you're having off night shooting, you still give yourself a chance to win.
De'Aaron, on that late free throw box out, like it's the second time, this season, the other one against the Spurs. Mm-hmm. Do you feel like it might be a communication thing, or what's going on in these?
A lot of times it's man on man. At the end of the day, you just got to be able to keep a guy off the glass. We did have 2 guys go to the shooter this time. So, but you just have to, especially obviously like Aylin hadn't played a lot, so you obviously big body, but he's not loose. But when we're down there, you have to communicate. Everybody needs to know who they're supposed to get. At times, if you're double teaming somebody, or if everybody's 1-on-1, we have to communicate that. And then at the end of the day, you have to execute it. And Rui fought harder than we did.
Hey, Fox. Mike has talked about facing adversity can actually be a good thing for a team, to strengthen a team. From you specifically in the locker room and just keeping the group together, is there anything specifically you're trying to do as a leader to keep everybody together through this? At
some point, we have to, and this was something that we talked about before the game. Like, you have to find a sense of like enjoyment playing the game. Obviously we all want to win. Everybody needs to do whatever it takes to win, rather than making shots or doing the little things. But at some point, you have to have enjoyment winning or enjoyment playing. And then, you enjoy playing with each other. You enjoy going out there and doing the hard things, and then comes winning. Like, there's never been, or at least not too many teams haven't been happy, or smiling, playing with each other, knowing that you have each other's back, knowing that, if you get beat, you have somebody behind you that's going to take care of their business, and then that guy has trust in the guy behind him, and then it's a snowball effect with that. So you have to enjoy playing the game, period, and then you have to enjoy playing with each other. And I think, we have to find that sense of enjoyment.
De'Aaron, you guys have hit a little rough stretch here, and it feels like you know, kind of pressure might be building a little bit within the organization from maybe even the top down. How are you guys handling that? How are you feeling that? And you know, where do you go from here?
When we go out there on the court, that's all we're thinking about. You go out there, you do your job. You trust that the guy behind you is going to do their job, and you worry about winning basketball games every time you step out there on the court. Nothing else. You know, you're not hearing whatever noise there is. You go out there and you do your job, and you want to enjoy doing your job, and that's how all of us are. That's how everybody's looking at it. Obviously, we know that we're not a super young team, and we know how hard this conference is. So at some point, we have to be able to be consistent in taking care of business.
Thanks, everyone.
Yeah, obviously, again, low scoring game. You got to take care of the small things. They killed us in transition. We had zero fast break points in the second half, so they killed us in transition, 17-8, and they hurt us on the offensive glass. Obviously, the missed free throw box out opportunity was huge. You got to give the Lakers credit. D'Lo came in here and he took it to us. He had 20 points. And if he wasn't shooting and knocking down threes, he was getting to the rim, laying it up almost uncontested. And then, LeBron's a great player, and no matter what his age is, he definitely showed it tonight. But give the Lakers credit for doing what they needed to do to win the ball game. I will say our guys did a decent job of executing in the second half, trying to spray the basketball. I thought we had a lot of wide open threes in the second half that we just couldn't make. We even had some layups at the rim that we just couldn't make. So somehow, some way, the ball has to go in for us. We got to keep trying to generate good looks for one another. But sooner or later, we're going to have to make shots, whether it's a layup or it's a wide open three.
Yeah, Mike, this sort of spiral you guys are in.
Yeah.
De'Aaron talked about trying to find their enjoyment and trying to figure out something like the joy of playing basketball. How do you help them, or how do you put them in a situation where they are moving the ball or they're finding that joy on the court that sort of helps them get over the hump in these situations?
You keep talking to them about the positives. We had a lot of positives. I mean, I'll go back and watch the film, but I'm telling you, just from my memory, thinking about the game, I'd take almost every shot that we took down the stretch. And our guys, I thought in the first half, again, we kind of were playing the same way as we did the game before. Got in the paint, AD come over, we take a tough shot, get the shot block or miss an impossible layup. But in the second half, man, we touched that paint. Even having some patience, we'd spray it, get the ball reversed, get into a different action on the backside after moving the defense, and then have a wide open shot. And those are the things we have to keep showing the guys that, hey, we're doing it. We just got to get to a point where we're making shots. And then there are times when we do things right defensively. It's going to be hard for me to do anything to get them to have fun if we miss a box out like we did after AD misses 2 free throws. I mean that's a downer. I don't care who you are. I don't know what I can do to get them to feel better after something like that. But the positives that we had, there were a lot of them. The ball didn't go in. There was some defensively. I mean, obviously they shot 48%, 49% from the floor, but at times we defended the right way, and at times we kept them off the glass, We just have to find different ways to stop guys from getting layup after layup after layup at times, and we did it at times. So again, it's right in front of us. We just got to go get it. And being positive, to answer your question, on a lot of stuff, because there were some positives, is something that I can help out with.
What are some of those positives that you kind of highlight in this one, and do you feel like the late game execution falls into that at least a bit?
Well, it depends on what you say about the late game execution. Like the box out, that you can execute on both ends of the floor. We didn't execute that correctly. But again, I thought Malik had a wide open three. I thought Keegan might have had one for sure, maybe two wide open threes. I think Fox had a wide open three. I think Domas had a layup at the rim that he missed maybe or something like that. So, man, I'd take our execution down the stretch. We generated some good looks. Our defensive execution at times was okay. The one thing that we kept telling our guys, I said, and they're shooting 27% from the three, and there's one guy that's making the three. It's D'Lo. And so to me, there's no way he should have gotten downhill and got 2 or 3 layups, because again, if they're going to beat us, let somebody beat us behind the 3-point line like they're doing to us. They're literally sitting in the paint and making it tough and telling our guys, hey, you guys got to step up and make shots, and we need to do the same. There's no way, like I said, that D'Lo should have gotten 2 or 3 consecutive layups to where I had to take a timeout. He was the only one making threes.
Mike, another loss in a game decided by 5 points or less. It's hard not to think back to 2 years ago in the clutch when your team was so good. Mm-hmm. Are you able to compare this year to that year? And is it as simple as, like you say, shot making, or is there something this year execution wise that is not the same as 2 years ago when you guys were so good?
No, so I would caution the shot making in the clutch. And I can go back and look at it. I'm not sure what it is, but like we sat down and got stops in the clutch 2 years ago, and before tonight, even maybe before last game, but we're 6 offensively in the clutch, and that's shooting the ball the way we're shooting it. Well, imagine if we as a team were shooting it close to 40% like we did from the 3 2 years ago. We'd probably be first in the clutch right now. But it's going to be hard to win games if you're 6th offensively in the clutch, but 21st, 22nd defensively in the clutch. We're not getting stops in the clutch, or we're not boxing out, coming up with rebounds. How many games have we lost because we couldn't box our man out and come up with a rebound? Now we're 3-10 in the clutch, and probably 4 to 5 of those games, we didn't give ourselves a chance because of the box out. And then maybe another 2 to 3 of those games, we just dribbled the ball off our foot or threw the ball out of bounds. So, even though we're not shooting the ball well, in my opinion, based on what I see, not only during the game and going back and watching it, based on the statistics to back it up, we have to do a better job of taking care of the ball. But more importantly, we got to defend and finish it with a rebound. And right now, we're not always doing that. So that would be my biggest concern going down the stretch of a tight ball game as opposed to making shots. Although I want to make shots.
Hey, Mike, not like the boxing out, especially late games and free throws, is a problem again. From your vantage point, what did you see on that last play that went wrong?
On our box out or on our out of bounds last play?
The box out, the free throw, after Anthony Davis missed the 2 free throws, and you guys didn't come up with the rebound. What went wrong there?
Well, the first thing is you could tell I was worried about the box out because I put, it's a 2-point game, and usually a 2-point game with 10 seconds left roughly. Hey, if they miss, you go. You don't take a timeout. You don't want their defense to get set. But I'm like, we got to come up with this rebound. So I'm gonna put the biggest dudes we got on our team out on the floor. I had 2 timeouts. Get the rebound, take a timeout. Doesn't matter. We just got to come up with the ball. So if you look at the Lakers, they had 2 guards that were kind of hugging the 3-point line initially, right? On his first free throw, they stayed there. He missed it. Second free throw, they're there. So Trey is over there with Rui and Domas. Does that make sense? Alin's on his own with AD. Now, really, you probably should have the second guy over there with AD, right? But we're a little worried about Domas's foot, or is that, he got stepped on somebody's foot. So we said, what? Although Rui is 4 inches smaller than Domas, a little smaller, let's put Trey over there to pinch. Well, if there's two guys here and they're hugging a three-point line, we can't afford to have one of those guys box the free throw shooter out. Does that make sense? Because if he goes to box the free throw shooter out, then this guy's got a clear run to get an offensive rebound. So I told Trey, I said, Trey, you get the shooter. If those two guys got to box out, I said, you get the shooter. So now if Trey has to get the shooter, every man's on his own, right? And the one thing, if you're on your own, you have to hit first. You have to take a step backwards into your guy. You can't step forward, because if you step forward at that point in the game, refs aren't calling no fouls. And a guy's going to get into your back and tip the ball backwards. And so at the last second, one of their guys pulled off the line. Now, at that point, our players have to read. They have to, the guy that left the free throw line, he's got to yell, I got shooter, which will tell Trey to pinch. Does that make sense? Trey still went and got the shooter, which was okay because we don't necessarily need to pinch Rui. But Domas has to step back into Rui. And I think he stepped forward first, which allowed Rui to get into his lower back, which allowed him to reach over the top and tap it backwards. And they came up with the ball.
Mike, you won 2 challenges tonight. You didn't have one, there at the end to use on that out of bounds call. Did you get a good look at that? What was your view of that?
Yeah, I mean, I saw the replay, and then our guys saw it, and it's funny. Even LeBron, because man, that's the smartest dude I've ever been around. But LeBron was laughing at the call, and my whole thing, what I said to the crew was, I said, hey, if you're in that situation, if you're 100% sure that the ball went out of bounds on us, go ahead and make the call. And the crew said they were 100% sure, no doubt about it, that it went out on us. Because my thing is, as an official, if there's any gray at all during that time, knowing we don't have a challenge, and we basically already, I think, won 2 challenges, maybe, I can't remember, and we don't have a chance to challenge, then what you do is you're like, I'm not sure. Did you see it? Then that guy should be like, I'm not sure. And then you either call a jump ball, or because I don't think you can review it anymore. So then it's just got to be a jump ball. But they were 100% sure that the ball went out on us, and that's why they made the call. And so, I mean, maybe the video I saw wasn't accurate. I don't know.
Well, Coach Brown, we have to be back here in less than 24 hours, so just want to know whether anything significant or a special message that you left your squad, going into, that you said to them, for tomorrow's game.
No, we got to get ready to play. That's what the NBA is about. Hey, we did some good things. We know we got to clean up some things, bring it in, let's go. Got to get ready for tomorrow. Simple.